Let me get settled. I will wait just a few more seconds and then I will begin talking about the Maui shooting that involved the police officers. Here. Let me go onto my page. All right, I'm gonna wait just 13 more seconds and then I'll start talking. Aloha, welcome. I'm just gonna wait for 1 minute and then, which is 3 more seconds, and then I'm gonna start talking about the incident. Alrighty, mahalo, aloha. Welcome back to Connected Dots with Jenny. We're talking about the shooting that happened on Maui on Thursday night. I'm gonna break everything down for you. I'm gonna give you all the facts. I have been boots on the ground. I have eyewitness footage and testimony. I have testimony from people who lived nearby where the stray bullets were. Um, I have video footage. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, please do, because that's where I am the most active and that's where I post all the stuff consistently really fast. I'm not as I'm trying to be better on YouTube. So Thursday night at 7:27 p.m., MPD gets a call about a man. Mahalo for joining. I appreciate you. About a man. Dispatch receives a terroristic threatening type call regarding a male reportedly armed with a firearm in an open field. And this is in Maui Lani in Maui. Okay. So the dispatch gets the call, officers run to the scene. Interestingly enough, I was driving home from work and I had an officer in front of me at that time and he flipped a bitch. We were at a stoplight. He turned on his sirens and he flipped a bitch and he went up the direction where he turned. I watched in my rearview mirror was towards where Maui Police Department is. So I was on the phone with my other half at that time and I said, "Whoa, the cop just flipped a bitch right there." And I seen two more cops fly up. And then I saw a third one in my rearview mirror. They all were flying up and then went up towards Maui Police Department. Shortly thereafter, at about I want to 7:57. At 7:57 p.m., I get a message from the Lahui, which they send me video footage of what happened at the shooting. So this is when I find out there was a shooting that they were responding to. People were commenting and messaging me, but I finally got somebody at 7:57. He sent me a video. Now I'm gonna show you guys the video so that you guys can just have like a point of reference and you know what we're working with. So sorry, let me get it. I have too much information. Here it is. Okay. So this is kind of the main one. Now I'm going to show you guys this on my iPad. No. Right here. Right here. This is the man. Okay? He's laying on the ground. So this is from an eyewitness. This is the woman that was with the suspect. Was that woman who walked? There's the cops. And they had already shot him. And he was already down. Okay? So shortly thereafter, I get a message from someone who lives in an apartment complex that's pretty far away. And they let me know that a bullet shot to the apartment above them into an uncle's house and it nearly missed him. So it went through the window and it lodged into the door frame. Okay. So I get that picture, I get that message from that individual who lives on the floor below because the auntie ran down and asked them, "Did you guys hear that?" Okay. And so they came up, they took shortly thereafter, Maui Police Department came and was taking photographs. Okay. So from now, for what we found out on Thursday night, was there was a shooting, they got called, and then at 9, shortly before 10 p.m., My police department releases this press release. Now, this press release is really telling and it's really important because it's going to fall in line with the whole Maui shooting. Okay. So let me pull it up. Here, I'll show you. Right here. Officer involved shooting. MPD press release. Okay. January 8th. Okay. I'm going to read to you what it says. It says on Thursday, January 8th at approximately 7:27, dispatch received a terroristic type call of regarding a male reportedly armed with a firearm in an open field off Kuikahi Drive in Wailuku. Patrol officers responded to the area at approximately 7:30 p.m. Upon making contact, officers encountered the male who refused to comply with the officer's commands. During the encounter, the male opened fire, at which time officers returned fire, striking the male. No other injuries were reported. Aloha. So it's important to note that that press release makes it sound like he is still alive. Now they released that at 9:50, shortly before 10 p.m. They released that video, okay? Or that press release. The next day at 1:42 p.m., MPD updates that press release to tell us that the man died at the scene. So my question was, why did you guys make your press release seem as if the man was still alive when you released it? It said during the encounter, the male opened fire, at which time officers returned fire, striking the male. No other injuries were reported. That makes it sound like he's okay. But then we come to find out he actually died on the scene. So initially we're like, did he die from bleeding out because he wasn't rendered aid? Or did he die because they shot and killed him? Okay. So the next day I'm researching, right? And that's when we figure out, oh, they're all in the field and they're all investigating. MPD has everything blocked off over at Maui. There's businesses right across the field. There's apartments way a ways away. You can't even see them. They're out of the line, the site. And there's businesses. There's cameras all over the place. So not only are they going to have body cam footage, but they're also going to have footage from the businesses all around them, okay? So the video that the individual shows me, right? I just went and I just slowed it down and I just rewatched it again. And I would bet my life they shot and killed him right there. Now where this MPD has been very hush hush about all of this. They haven't said anything about this. They did their press release at 9:58 on like 9:50 on Thursday night p.m. They said he was shot. That's it. Makes it sound like he's alive and well. On Friday the next day at 1:42, they update their press release to say, oh, he died at the scene, when in reality he was shot and killed immediately at that time when the officers shot back at him. But now what happened is they shot so many bullets. It went everywhere. Everywhere. It went to these businesses over here. It went all the way to these apartment complexes over there. And I can guarantee they went straight ahead to Ace Hardware. Okay. So now they've been silent and I've been wondering, none of it ever sat right with me. So yesterday I walked the crime scene. I video recorded it. I'm going to be posting it on my page. I walked the trajectory of the bullets and I found a way that bullet literally went go over and then like it lost its momentum and it only stopped because it hit something. Okay. And so it ended up hitting, it went through a tree. Okay. It bypassed, there was two like apartments like this. It bypassed one apartment and it went straight into the top of the second apartment that was in the back. It had the upstairs bedroom, okay? There's a gunshot. And it narrowly missed the uncle who was just standing up and he had just sat down and we miss him. And so they heard the shots and they thought it was fireworks. So the auntie went run downstairs and went go ask the neighbors. The neighbor downstairs is who messaged me and sent me photographs of the gunshot and the bullet through the window and on top of the door frame. So yesterday I walked all of it and I found the trajectory, and it's pretty hard. It went through some trees and it cleared. It might have tapped the top of another place, but there was a bunch of bullets that was down there. Okay. So because I went and I walked that area, or people who live down there messaged me that the MPD was there. MPD already went and they took it. I didn't see any bullets personally. So as I'm like investigating this, right? I'm just, because none of it made sense. Like, they're hush hush. They're not saying anything about it. There's no press releases. They made it sound like he was alive. And right when I found the trajectory, my first thought is always, well, whose bullet ended up in the uncle's house? That is very important. Why is that important? Because if that was the Maui Police Department's bullet, then that family can sue Maui County. That's why it's important to know. Now, I got sent pictures from people who were in the business, the doctor's offices, the businesses right across of there. And guess what? There was bullets over there too. So now there's the potential danger that could have happened, but the danger didn't come from the man shooting. Because at this point, we don't even really know if he had a gun or if he shot, because the only person who told us was MPD. And as I've been tracking them, we already know they lied. Like, they lied about him dying. So did he shoot back? Hopefully, because then it's not okay. It's not okay that they shot him if he didn't shoot back. If he did shoot them, well, then that's what they're going to do. They're going to fire back on him. Okay. So there's bullets everywhere. They're doing major investigation. And now, after I have gone and walked it and I have seen video footage, heard eyewitness, people who had seen it, and then also people who live at the apartment complex, I now know for a fact, because I found them. I found the guy who was standing there and whose gun went shoot towards the apartment complex. What MPD is doing right now is damage control. Because at this point, it's a mess. The businesses can sue the county. Every single business right around them can sue the county. The family can sue the county. And if that man did not shoot them, then they wrongfully killed him. And the female that was with him witnessed everything. She was standing off to the side. She's in the video footage. She witnessed everything. So she can file a wrongful death suit. Either way, she can file a suit, because what they did, the amount of bullets they shot, was excessive. So the reason why they have been hush hush is because they don't want anybody to know yet. They're trying to spin their narrative. That's literally what's happening. And so that's why I am boots on the ground. I am recording everything and I'm posting everything on my Instagram page. If you don't follow me, go follow me there. Instagram, Connect the Dots with Jenny One. I post on there consistently and regularly, and in my stories. And my stories is where I drop all the tea first. So on there, I'm putting all the receipts out. I'm putting all the receipts up there so everybody can see the receipts right away. And so everybody can see it, so that when Maui Police Department throws their press conference tomorrow, which I know they're going to, finally, 5 days later almost, when they finally do their press conference, we will have evidence and receipts to be like, no, you're not telling us the truth about that. You're not telling the truth about that. You're not telling the truth about that. Okay. Because what happened is there ended up being a shootout. And most of those bullets are MPD bullets. Thank God nobody was driving by at the time. No stray bullet hit anybody. Thank God none of those stray bullets went through and hit any of the other apartments that have kids. That apartment complex has a lot of kids. A lot. It's all families in there. Okay. There's all the bullets that's right there at the business. So I walked the scene of the crime. So it's in a field, so it's all grass. It's all dry grass, which, by the way, is a total hazard for fires. Anyways, it's dry grass, so they spray painted it with green all on top the grass. They spray painted the grass. There's so much spray paint on the grass. One of my MPD sources, who is not a detective on this case, by the way, I will say, told me that any place where there's those sprays is more than likely the path that bullet traveled and landed on. And I'm going to tell you, it's a fucking hot mess. There's a shit ton of fucking bullets. A lot. So here's another interesting tidbit, right? The next day, this happened on Thursday night. The next day on Friday, I get a message from the eyewitness who sent me the video footage in the first place. And this individual asked me, they said, "Have you heard anything if the guy died?" And I said, "No, I haven't heard anything about that." And he goes, "Well, I'm positive he died. He didn't get up." And shortly after that, like 10, 15 minutes later, literally, it was like, no, half an hour. It was like 1:15 is when he asked me that. And then 1:42 is when MPD updated that he died. So today, go watch on my Instagram if you guys don't want to wait. Today, I post a video where I'm watching and I slowed everything down, and you can see I don't have the actual shooting. I have the immediately after. And you can see him laying on the ground. You can see the girlfriend trying to walk over. You can see the cops telling her to stop, stay there, ma'am. You can see him not move at all. You can see the cops, staying away, not even coming close. And then you can see like other cops coming in, and the direction that the cops are facing is towards the businesses and the apartment complexes. Now, the reason, so there's two things that I want to point out. One is the damage control, which is why they're hush hush and they're waiting 5 days to even speak upon this matter, which works out good for me because that gave me time to go boots on the ground to actually, so like I know this case inside and out. I have my MPD sources, I have video footage, and I have people who live in that apartment complex. So I've got a pretty well-rounded view of this incident, okay? Shit, I kind of lost track of what I was saying. The second thing, two things. One, they're hush hush because they're trying to figure out how to spin a narrative. Point blank. They're trying to figure out how they can spin this narrative because this just looks like a shit show for MPD. So that's why it's important that I release all of this information so that everybody can just know. You make your own judgments, but I'm here to just present all the facts. These are all facts. The second thing is these officers are all young officers. The one confirmed officer I know that was put on administrative leave for that shooting graduated November 21st, 2025. He hasn't even been sworn in for a month and a half. Now, this is not his fault. I blame Pelletier again because he is at the top. And what he's doing is he's cutting training time. He's bypassing requirements to get more applicants in. He's bypassing them. So there's people who's not passing tests, psych tests. There's a two test shit. Oh, there's a psych test, and then there's not the pathological lying test, the test where they a lie detector test. There's people who's not passing these tests that he's fucking fast tracking, bypassing these requirements. And then once they're in recruitment, then he's fast tracking them. And this officer was only sworn in November 21st. So less than a month and a half. According to my MPD sources, they tell me that new officers are supposed to be on patrol with senior officers for up to 4 months so that they can gain experience and knowledge. So I do not blame these newer officers who are responding, and they're being placed in situations that they're not being prepared for. Another thing that I'm hearing from these new recruits is that I've been hearing since I started my page is they are not ready. They do not feel prepared. They do not feel ready to be alone on patrol. So now we have another issue where all attest that John Pelletier is so dangerous for Maui is one, he's taking innocent officers who aren't trained properly and putting them in situations they're not prepared for. Two, he's fast tracking them so they're not even equipped or prepared to be there in the second place. And three, he doesn't care. All he wants to do is make his numbers look good so he can say that he's fixed the recruitment problem. But how the fuck's your retention? And now you've created PTSD in these new officers. So far, I've heard there are three officers that were placed on administrative leave pending investigation. I have on my page, my latest one that I posted the video, we pinpoint who and shoot the bullets that went go straight down to that apartment complex. We got that. We got all that information. Okay. So John Pelletier is really just dangerous for Maui, period. If I have heard from experienced police officers that they can teach you when to shoot a gun, but the most important part is knowing. No, they can shoot you how to. They can teach you how to shoot a gun, but knowing when to shoot it is the most important. And they said that comes with experience, that comes with wisdom and discernment and knowledge and merit, right? And so there's just so many layers to this. And it is not just one thing, it's multiple things, right? So there's this unfortunate incidents that occurred where this man was supposed allegedly wielding a gun, to where these officers responded to where he was shot and killed. These stray bullets hit the apartment and the businesses. Thank God it didn't hit anybody in their cars that were driving by. Okay, but then now they're all hush hush, hush hush. They didn't want to tell us that he died. Now we're not hearing anything about it, right? So then it's like, okay, why? And then as I walked the whole crime scene yesterday, I was like, this is why, because it's a shit show, and MPD is responsible for it, and it makes MPD look bad, and now potentially all these people can file lawsuits against the county, and it all comes down to Pelletier because he's trying to fast track numbers, so he's trying to fill recruitment. He's an actor. He is an actor. Go to my Instagram page, follow me there. I'm so consistent on there, and I drop all little stuff all the time. If you just read through all my whole page, you will learn everything about the shooting. Now tomorrow's when they're going to do their press release. Finally, 5 days later, on Monday, when this happened on Thursday, they're finally going to address this situation. Of course, nobody knows that yet. That's just my inside sources telling me that. And now we're going to check to see what they actually tell us. And we're going to make sure, the Lahu is going to make sure that they're doing the right thing, right? All righty, mahalo for joining. I appreciate you guys for watching. Come follow me over on Instagram, over on TikTok, and over on X. I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day. Aloha.